Hi, I'm Jérémy.
And I'm Ben.
Together we are 15 degrees north.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Jordan.
Jordan is a country in the Middle East, in the northwestern corner of the Arabian Peninsula.
We flew into Amman, its capital, but headed straight down the shore of the Dead Sea, which makes up its border with Israel.
The country's name comes from the River Jordan, the biblical river that links the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea.
Jordan sits on the east bank, while the west bank is Israel, or the Palestinian Territory within Israel.
Suitably, our first stop is Mount Nebo, the mountain on which Moses is reported to have first seen the Promised Land, the land of milk and honey, promised to him by God.
The view is indeed remarkable, and the spot has been marked by a church since the Byzantine era, and its mosaic still survives today.
Heading south, we travel the renowned King's Highway, which is considered one of the most spectacular road trips in the world.
We kept stopping to take photos, so we can definitely confirm that this is decidedly the case.
In biblical time, this was the land known as Moab.
In medieval times, it was considered by Christians the frontier between the Holy Land and the Muslim world.
Subsequently, during the Crusades, European armies constructed a series of castles along this route.
Kerak Castle was the largest of these, but the Christians were only successful in maintaining control of the region for about 40 years, before the region fell to the Sultanate of Egypt, who moved straight into this ready-made fortified palace.
I don't know, call me Lawrence of Arabia.
And this is our hotel. It feels like the end of the world.
On our second day, we arrive at one of Jordan's most beautiful sights.
Wadi Rum is a stunning desert littered with sandstone and granite mountains with sheer cliffs looming high above the sand.
Its name translates as Valley of the Moon, and the region is a national park, which you have to pay an entrance fee to access.
There are no roads that cross it, but you can explore by hopping in the back of a 4x4, and you can pick up quite some good speed when zooming across the sand, even if it's quite the bumpy ride.
But who cares when the view is this remarkable? I mean, come on, just look at it.
To people from the Anglo world, Wadi Rum is most associated with Lawrence of Arabia, who travelled through it several times during the Arab Revolt during World War I.
His written accounts sparked interest in the region, while his monumental biopic in 1962 single-handedly kicked off tourism in the region, which has boomed ever since.
And Hollywood has dined out on its alien landscape.
Wadi Rum was the filming location for films like Star Wars and The Martian, and you can totally see from its landscape why it was used for to represent places of other planets, because it really does feel like you're in a different world.
The desert is still populated today by Bedouins, living in tents and crossing the dunes on their camels.
However, today there are many Bedouin camps nestled in the midst of the dunes, especially for tourists, where you can sleep in tents beneath a desert sky bright with stars.
We were a little bit blown away by our camp, especially when it was time to take our camels for the sunset.
How is it up there?
Scary.
Riding a camel, surprisingly bumpy. Yeah, I feel like Lawrence of Arabia.
The Nabateans were the most successful civilization to live in the region. We were a group of traders who dominated the Arabian Peninsula from the 4th century BCE until the 5th CE.
Their success was based on their enormous trading network, with caravans of camels traipsing back and forth across the desert, bringing highly sought-after goods between the mystical East and the Mediterranean.
And what people wanted more than anything was incense, which the Nabateans had a near-perfect monopoly over, trading frankincense and myrrh for a hell of a lot of gold.
And so they travelled the desert with their gold, frankincense and myrrh, waiting for a bright star to appear in the east.
Oh, hang on, this sounds like a story I know.
Merry Christmas!
But what did feel like Christmas came early was when the food that had been traditionally slow cooking beneath the sun all day was dug up ready for us to eat, and after the day we just had, we were so ready for it.
The next morning, the sunrise across the dunes was absolutely glorious, with the pink light perfectly picking up the rosy hues of the dunes.
And just like the Nabateans before us, we headed north, tracing in the hoof prints of the millions of caravans before us.
Except we were on a jeep.
Well, camels are great if you've got weeks at your disposal, but we didn't have weeks, and we were fairly impatient to arrive at our final destination.
Heading into the rocky ravines and canyons of the Araba Valley, we are heading to the Nabateans' greatest achievement.
Because with all that wealth they accumulated from trade, they built something truly remarkable that was lost to the sands of time.
Hidden in the depths of this rocky landscape is their ancient capital, Rakhmu.
Although we know it by its Greek name, Petra.
Hewn from the very rock of the valley itself, the first building you discover is its most famous.
Known as a treasury, it was actually a mausoleum.
You may recognise it as the location of the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but it is now known as one of the new 7 wonders of the world, and unsurprisingly, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
You see so many photographs and videos of this at the internet, and we already know what it looks like, but when you see it in person, it's just like, oh my god.
Head beyond the Treasury and you emerge into a wider section of the valley where the rest of the Nabatean capital sat.
A vast and sprawling city, all of the sections carved into the cliffs still remain today.
The city was abandoned following an earthquake in the 4th century, and this booming metropolis was completely forgotten for 1500 years, only to be rediscovered by a Swiss explorer in 1812.
How are you feeling about Petra?
Absolutely petrified.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see?
Clever.
On the far side of the city is Petra's other treasure, the monastery.
To get there is quite the walk, so we suggest you do like we did and hop on the back of some mules.
So we got on those scary mules down the bottom and it took us all the way up to the monastery. Was it worth
Just
it?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Totally worth it. I loved it.
Absolutely. I mean, at least we managed to see this in the time that we've got.
Not cheap, but totally worth it.
It's quite a
If
distance.
you're short on time, it's the best way.
The Nabateans were quite the architects. I mean, this is 2,000 years old.
And their legacy makes Jordan entirely worth visiting today.
So come and experience the amazing sights the Arabian desert has to offer.
Thanks for watching.
Be sure to like, share and subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram at 15 Degrees North.
Make sure to tune in to our next video to see where in the world we end up next.
See ya.
Bye!